Hello YouTube and welcome to another episode of The Cloudy Vape. In this video we're going to be talking about the Subverter Mini by Smokme. Smokme. Don't smock me. Here it is. Kind of looks like the Kinger Sub-Tank Mini, but it has some features that switch it up a little bit. So yeah, let's dive down and check it out. First, let's have a little vape on it. This is the 0.2 ohm coil using organic Japanese cotton in the coil heads, and this is wide open. We're going to be using about 50 watts, and let's check it out. Alright, so that was at 50 watts on the iStick 50 watt, so I just switched it over to the Sigelei 150 so I can bump it up a little bit higher. These 0.2 ohm coil heads are rated for 80 watts, so I'm just going to go for that. I'm going to go all the way up to 80 and see how it goes. I've broken in this coil for about 3 days now, so here's 80 watts at about 4.6 volts, 0.2 ohms. Let's see if we get a dry hit. Definitely intense. I'm gonna open up the drip tip has airflow, kind of like the Atlantis. So you see right there, it has that airflow going on. So I'm going to open up just a little bit and try that also. Cool it off a little bit, because 80 watts, 0.2 ohms is pretty intense at this. No dry hits, but it is pretty warm. So the opening up the drip tip definitely helps with the, cooling off the vapor. So let's try it out. So let's try it out. So I got quite a few pulls out of this. No dry hits, but it is definitely intense. My eyes are like watering from it. It is definitely an intense vape at 0.2 ohms, but the wicking keeps up with it. The only thing I could really say about this tank that sets this apart is from all the other sub-tanks I've tried, the wicking just doesn't keep up with the wattage. And even with the 0.5 ohm coil, the wicking keeps up with the wattage, even up to like 80 watts on a 0.5 ohm coil. So that is definitely the, I would say the pro to this one. But, everything else, just to be completely honest with you before we dive down, there's not a lot of innovation. There's not a lot of difference compared to most of the other ones, besides it wicking better. And also it has a tri airflow. So there's three Cylon airflows coming in. That is the biggest change up. But it actually, because of that, it definitely sets this apart as a really great, really flavorful, and decent sub-tank. So without more yapping, let's dive down and check it out. Alright, so here is the Subverter tank, the Subverter Mini by Smokme. This is the box it comes in. It says Subverter Mini. It also says Subverter Mini also. And then Smokme right on the front right there. On the back it does have a little bit of stuff on there, which I will read to you. It says that the Smokme Subverter Mini with improved adjustable airflow, BOC replacement coil heads, and unique design dedicated to offering best user experience. BOC means bottom organic coil, best performance for fruit flavors and candy flavored e-liquid. Let's see, the liquid capacity is 4.5 mils, and the wattage is 20 to 50 watts, which they're not stating coil heads. It says 20 to 50 watts, but the actual coil heads, the 0.5 says up to like 80 or 100, I think, and then the 0.2 says like 80, 30 to 80 or something. So the marking is a little off back there. But Yeah, I think maybe the 0.2 was an afterthought because this is just talking about the 0.5. The kit includes a Subverter Mini, replacement BOC, coil heads, replacement glass Pyrex, and all of that good stuff. It was designed in California and made in China, assembled in China rather. So here it is. Let's pop this off. Looks like most of your sub tanks. It's going to be wrapped in a nice little plastic in this soft kind of carpet, I guess you would call it. So let's pop this out. Alright, there's a tank. I'm going to set that aside real quick. So let's pop this out and turn this around. So this is your replacement 0.2 ohm coil head, and this is your replacement Pyrex to replace the glass. So there's going to be a 0.5 ohm coil head actually put in the tank. So here is the tank. This is the Subverter Mini. A few key features I would say is this really large strip tip. It has a nice bore on it, but it just, it's very nice, ease of use. You also have, I would say probably 4 or 5 millimeters by 2 millimeters. You have sideline airflow on both sides, and it is adjustable. You close off one side, it'll close off the other side. So that is pretty nice. This also has two, or is this one or two? It just has one really thick O-ring to seal off the drip tip, and that is about it. I believe this is a 304 stainless steel. Let me look at the build again. It doesn't say anything on the back. I think it's 304. Last time I checked, possibly 303, but it is a stainless steel build. So there is your drip tip. I'm going to pop that right back in, and that does pop in very nice and snug. You have your O-rings, just like the King or sub tank, the King or sub tanks. So you have O-rings to seal off the Pyrex. The top section, like most of these sub tanks, are in one whole section. Let's see if I can pop this apart. Alright, so as you notice, this coil head is actually stuck in here. Once I take this off, it's still screwed in there. I have noticed that has been, maybe that's what they want it to do, so you can fill it up all the way, a little bit more. I know that is that's a method for filling some other sub tanks. But for me, I kind of like it when the coil actually comes out. But I have had, maybe 2 or 3 times it's actually come out with the base when I've unscrewed it. But essentially, there is your coil head, just like that. You screw it down, and it works like the majority of your coil heads. This section is basically in your 2 sections. There's your drip tip, and then your Pyrex that just pops off like this. That just slips off just like that, and no issues there. So this whole top section right here is in one piece, and I believe this is also stainless steel. I haven't really noticed any plating or anything inside of here. So these O-rings do pop off. I don't believe there are any replacement O-rings as of yet. You look down there, there's your chimney, also the section that screws down onto the coil head. But essentially that is your entire piece. Also your 510 drip tip connection, and then that is how you would replace your glass Pyrex tank, just like that. You screw down just like that. That attaches it, and then you pop your drip tip on, just like that, and that will make your whole entire tank ready to go. So as far as airflow goes, you have I would say it's about 11 or 10 millimeters in width, the sideline airflow, 11 to 10 millimeters in width, and about 2.5 in height, and you have 3 of those all over, 3 going around, and all of them are adjustable. So if you adjust one, say you cut off half on one, all 3 will be cut off. But I do like this airflow a lot better than the majority of sub tanks, just having either dual Cylon or just a single Cylon on one side. It does work out pretty well. On the bottom, you have, I believe it is a silver-plated brass on the bottom for your contact. Let's unscrew this, look at that. This contact pin just goes right back in, and it press fits in. As far as everything else right here, you have a grommet to seal off the tank. And yeah, that is about it for the base section, the tank section, just like that. Now let's take apart some of these coils and check them out. I'm actually going to take apart some coils that I've already used to see, you know, how it wears and stuff. I used all of these coils for about 2 to 3 days each. And then also let's take a look at the nickel coils, the nichrome 20 coils, sorry, nichrome 200 coils. Alright, so here is a 0.2 ohm coil. This states it can go from 30 to 80 watts. And as you can see inside of there, I've used this for a few days. I've ran quite a few tanks out of this. So here is your airflow on your actual coil. This is the airflow coming in, the intake. You got about 2.5 to 3 millimeter holes right there. As far as your actual your juice flow, your actual juice channels in there, I would say those are closer to 5 millimeters, not 5 mils. So you do have very, very large, 4 very large sections for juice flow. So it does wick very well. And just like most coil heads, you have your bottom pin that connects. You have your grommet that also connects in. And then you can see you have some positive and negative leads in there. So I'm going to pop these apart and check them out. So I'm just popping through the bottom, and let's see what it looks like. So you have a little stainless steel mesh to hold hold the cotton in place, prevent spit back, all that good stuff. So this is used cotton, so let's see what it looks like. Pull it apart. It feels like cotton. No issues there. Haven't found any funny business yet. Yep, all cotton. All cotton in there. So there's a cotton that is used. As you can see, I've used a few different types of juice in here. Really darker juices and stuff, so that's what you're seeing. You do have a little dark, that kind of looks like burning. A little bit of burning there also. Maybe it dried out a little bit, but I did use really dark juice. It kind of looks like blood. That's kind of creepy. So looking at the coil inside of this 0.2 ohm, it is a parallel. They have it wrapped in parallel. If you see, parallel, boom. And there are your 2 leads. So it is a dual coil in the bottom, but they have it, wrapped in series or parallel, whatever you want to call it. As you can see, the darker section is where it actually fires up, and the rest of it is your resistance, non-resistance. I'll try to pull it apart and show you where the fuse sections are. So if you can see really closely right here where my finger is, that is where the fuse is, where they're fusing the wire. So you have like a non-resistance to resistance fuse right there. So the inner section, the darker section that you see gunked up, is all that gets... all that really fires up. But being that you have such long of a non-resistance wire, it heats up pretty quickly. There's no delay. I know the Aspire Atlantis 2 has a lot of ramp up time, and that's I haven't really liked that, but I haven't really noticed a lot of ramp up time issues on this. It heats up really quickly, but there is a 0.2 ohm coil. Now going back to the cotton, I believe I've ripped this apart quite a few times. This is just regular cotton, nice and hairy, so to speak. Not actual hair, but very nice strands. Basically 2 small pieces of cotton just kind of wrapped around that coil, and that's all you're going to get out of there. No funny business going on inside of these coils, so props to Smokme for not being shady. Alright, this next coil head, this is one of the nichrome 200 coil heads. Alright, so let's check this out. This coil head has not been used yet. Alright, you have your stainless steel mesh just like that. So these are for temperature control devices. And I haven't used it too much, only because the last temperature control device I had, I gave away. So as soon as I get a new temperature control device, I'll throw one of these coil heads in here. So let's look at this. You have a liner for it, which is cotton. You also have more cotton in here. So this is a dual coil, just like the other one, wrapped in parallel, kind of just smashed together. You also have some fusing going on right at the base and right at the top of the lead. So it is a fused coil, just like the rest of them. But pulling it apart, you can see that the fuse is right here by my thumb. Not where that bend is, but make it a little bit closer. The fuse is right there by my thumb. So there it is. There is the nichrome 200 wire, and they do offer replacement for that. So if that's something you want to get into, if you're messing with temperature control, definitely check it out. So there it is. There is the Subverter Mini by Smokme. That was just a quick rundown, a quick review of it, let you know about it, and let's go ahead and go back up to FaceTime and talk about it just a little bit more. Alright, so let's talk about the pros and the cons. So the pros on this definitely is the tri airflow. You definitely get a better airflow coming in, although, you know, most airflow it's a lie, so to speak. It's really about how fast air can come in, and then it'll bottleneck at the actual coil. It's all based on what is the diameter of the coil inside of the coil head. And, you know, this is probably like a 3.5 millimeter coil head, the actual coil going down. So that is what your actual airflow restriction is going to be set to. No matter how much airflow you have around the deck, all that really means, excuse me, Cody, sorry for burping. All that really means is you'll get air to it faster, if that makes sense. A lot of people are probably, you know, oh no, you're not right, you know, well, it's true. You only have so much airflow in the actual chimney, and then as much airflow coming through the sides. That's about, you know, speed of air, how fast the air can travel through it. So you might get more vapor production, but it's not necessarily more airflow. You're actually getting it faster, if that makes any sense. So that's just a little rant about that. But because it is, I'm ranting, but because it is a tri airflow setup, it definitely has a very nice draw. It doesn't feel like the Sub-Tank Mini has just one silent airflow on the side. So when you vape it, it kind of, you feel a restriction from one side, if that makes any sense. I know if you're using dual coil RDAs a lot, you know exactly what I mean. As soon as you accidentally maybe put it on single coil instead of the dual coil airflow, you feel that odd restriction. And that's what I get out of most sub-tanks with just you know, one airflow on one side, being that the coil is right in the center. So definitely I like the airflow and how it feels. It definitely is a very nice airflow. Probably the best airflow that I've had so far out of a tank. So that is definitely a pro, and I enjoy that. The wicking, like I said in the very beginning, the wicking is ridiculous. The quickness that it breaks in probably within, I would say, half of a tank. Most sub-tanks you have to vape through 3 or 4 tanks to really get the flavor going. This flavor is, you taste it right away, right when you wick it, you know, saturate that coil head, get it going, but you taste the flavor right away. And then, you know, by the time you're done with that tank, you fill up that second tank, and it's just pure flavor. Absolutely great flavor. The drip tip, I would have to say that is one of my favorite parts about this tank. I've used this drip tip on a lot of other RDAs, a lot of other sub-tanks. It's just a very nice, large, wide bore drip tip, and it has the option for airflow. And the reason you put airflow on a drip tip, if people are wondering, it usually, the main reason, at least, is to cool off the vapor from the RDA. So if you're using like a 0.2 ohm build, like is in this coil head, or if you have, you know, 0.15, 0.18, something that is really, really warm, and you're using a 510 connection, you use a 510 connection with airflow in it to cool off that vapor. You're definitely going to lose flavor by doing that, but you definitely can cool off the flavor, or cool off the vapor, rather, not the flavor, and definitely get, you know, cooler vapor, and it's not so intense. So that is definitely a pro on that. But yeah, as far as the build goes, it reminds me, it almost looks like a replica of the Sub-Tank Mini, but with some change-ups. You know, But let's talk about cons. So cons right away are there is no top filling method. Sub tanks, you know, nowadays, I guess, because it's only been a couple months since, or I guess 6 months or so since sub tanks really started going crazy. Sub tanks these days should have top filling, should have multiple filling options. Definitely, that's definitely a con. I wish it had multiple filling options. I'm sure if they do a version 2, it'll probably have that. As far as everything else, I'm just trying to think. That is that's one of my biggest gripes. The other con is, you know, the inside. When you take off that glass Pyrex, it just feels really sharp, like razor edges on the actual the windows that are opened up for the actual, you know, the Pyrex you can see inside the frame, so to speak. So that is really sharp. But as far as everything else, like it's just is what it is. It's so hard to talk about a sub tank without just saying the same exact thing, because most sub tanks are the same. But this one, and this is where I will end this rant. This one is, as far as design goes, decent. Airflow is what really sets this one apart, and the coil heads, the wicking, how fast it can wick, and the quality, the flavor. That's really what's going to set this one aside. As far as everything else, it's pretty much your average sub tank. But the wicking, the flavor, the airflow options, the drip tip is just, you know, that is what I feel is just really bam pow in the face about this one. So yeah, I would like to see a lot of changes to this. I would like to see top filling. I would like to see adjustable juice, the juice channel, kind of like the TVCT by OBS. I would like to see that. So yeah, just a few little things. But yeah, that's really all I'm going to say. If I keep talking, I'll keep ranting. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you want to know more about this device, look in the description box below. And that is all. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please like it. And if you like my videos in general, please subscribe. And as always, stay classy and keep vaping.